Hey, how's it going, YouTube? How y'all doing today? They only had one sweet liquid blow guard block at the feed store yesterday, so I picked it up and I gave it to these animals. And realistically, it says like give one block for 10 animals, but I've only had one block out here, and all these animals, their bloat's all gone. So they all got a turn to lick at it. It just took a little while, I guess, for them to all get at it. But all their bloat is gone. It fixed them all up. I'm trying to see where the oh, here's the animal that was bloating real bad yesterday. You see how he just kind of doesn't look like a gas bubble anymore. So it fixed him right up. This is that Brangus animal. It had the bloat real bad yesterday. Fixed him right up. So all these animals, they got fixed right up. Even with just one block for about 28, 29 animals, something like that. Just about 30 animals. It got them all fixed up. Yesterday I was kind of just taking a look around for a baler, and I found one, and somebody else bought it. It was a small square baler. It's a New Holland 310. It's a baler that only requires 25 horsepower PTO, so I could have ran it on my small tractor, and somebody was selling it for 700 bucks. And I got to it, or I asked about it within like 10 hours of it having been posted, and it sold. It sold before that, so it's okay. I mean, it just is what it is. I'll find a different opportunity. Those balers, they usually sell for like 2,500 bucks, anywhere from $2,500 to $4,500. And so for someone to sell it for 700 bucks it was a tremendous deal. Man, I'm kind of getting just swarmed by cattle right now. They all rubbing their heads on me. Come on, man. But yep, it would have been cool if I could have bought it, but it's okay. It is what it is. It's already gone. I'll just keep looking for a different one. I am still in the market for a baler. Yep, I don't know exactly what I'm going to if I'm gonna buy a round one or a square one. I'm gonna just keep an eye out for one. Okay, let me get through here. These cows just following me around, rubbing their heads on me. I took a good look at Big Boy. This guy right here, that I was saying in the other video that I measured him at 375. I think he was just standing a little funny, because when I just kind of look at him, when I just kind of eyeball him, he's over 400 pounds. He's probably just over 400 pounds. When I just take a look at him, seeing how long he is, and seeing just about how thick he is, he's over 400 pounds. So I think that what had happened when I was measuring him was that he was trying, like, I had the tape up to his side, like I had pushed the tape up to his body, and he had scrunched over trying to sniff at the tape to see what I was doing, and it messed up the measurement. Like, he wasn't moving, but he did kind of scrunch over to kind of get a sniff at to sniff at the tape to see what it was. And so that kind of threw off my measurement by a little bit. But this guy, he's over 400 pounds. Yeah, I would say he's maybe just over 400 pounds. It's close to or just over 400 pounds. And so yep, I was taking a look at him yesterday, and I was like, this don't look like a 350 pound animal to me. He's gonna be over 375. And so yep, these animals, I got the grass is kind of slowing down a little bit. My big plan for this grass right now is that this grass, well, I'm gonna wait for oh, well, actually, now that I think about it, well, I was thinking I would wait until I visually am able to diagnose a nutrient deficiency before I put fertilizer on it again, so that I can let the grass kind of just slow down a little bit, so that the cattle stop bloating on it. But it's supposed to, there's like a 50% chance of daily rain next week, and so there's a 50% chance that it could rain every single day for a week straight next week. If that happens, I won't be able to drive over this field to put fertilizer on it. So if I'm going to put fertilizer on it, I need to put it on here before that happens. So yeah, but I may just go ahead and do it and just bring in another blow guard block. But yesterday, the reason I was getting so confused on the urea, on how much urea I need to put on this field. Okay, so I got it straightened. I got it straightened out. It's what it is that 1 pound of urea is roughly 50% nitrogen fertilizer. It's 46%, so it's 46% nitrogen fertilizer per pound of urea. And so if I put 10 pounds of fertilizer of urea on the field, it's going to be 4.6 pounds of urea, of nitrogen fertilizer. And I need to put 10 pounds of nitrogen fertilizer on the field a week, is what I estimate. That's what I kind of have in my mind in terms of when I'm making a budget. This is about how much I will need, is what but as things happen, I kind of gauge it as I go. So if I'm like, man, okay, so this month, the reason I came up with the $150 for the fertilizer budget this month is because 1 ton of urea costs about $550 right now. And if I need 100 pounds, so I just roughly estimated 100 pounds per acre per month, because 100 pounds per acre per month is about 46 pounds of nitrogen fertilizer per acre this month. So it's about that it's about 10 pounds a week, roughly about 10 pounds a week. And so 10 pounds of nitrogen fertilizer a week. But to put 10 pounds of nitrogen fertilizer on the field a week, I need to put 20 pounds of urea on the field to get that 10 pounds of fertilizer. And so the reason that I was budgeting $150 is because I'm planning to slow down the urea, the fertilizer this month, because the cattle are bloating so bad and the grass is growing real fast. If I just got a little bit more water, this grass would grow tremendously faster. It's just been so dry. We've had one rainstorm in April, and so yep, it's been real dry. And so if I got a little bit more rain on this field, it would grow in much faster. But yep, I mean, it's okay. The rain's supposed to be here next week, and the cattle look fine. I mean, that rain that we got was enough rain to really put a lot of water in the soil, and the cattle look just fine. Like this guy, he looked just fine. And so yep, that's why I was budgeting $150. Is because in reality, if I was gonna put the 10 pounds of nitrogen a week on the soil, I would need my budget would be about $275. But because I'm slowing down the nitrogen fertilizer, I'm slowing down the fertilizer on the grass this month, I'm going to be applying about half as much. And so half of 275 is about 150, and I'm going to use about it's going to cost me about $10 in diesel. So for diesel, actually it'll probably cost me about $5. It wouldn't even take a gallon of diesel for me to fertilize this field. But that's where I got the $150 number from. So essentially, it's going to cost me about $150 to fertilize this grass, to fertilize 10 acres. But then, yep, that front field right now, well, I got a lot of stuff going on. That front field right now doesn't really need fertilizer on it either. But I may put a little bit more fertilizer on it before I plant that Sudan grass. I'm gonna be planting that Sudan grass here in about 3-4 days. Up front, I'm gonna be planting that Sudan grass here. But I'm like, man, maybe I'll put a little bit more fertilizer on the field before well, for me to get 1 flush of Sudan grass, I got enough fertilizer on there. I know I do. But I'm just kind of finalizing my plans for this week in my head right now, and so that I'm ready to go by next week. And so yep, maybe I'll fertilize the front a little bit more. I'll put a little bit more phosphorus, a little bit more potassium into the soil. Phosphorus, potassium fertilizer is much more expensive than nitrogen fertilizer. a tonnage of triple 17, so 17% nitrogen, 17% phosphorus, 17% potassium with 7% sulfur. That fertilizer, it costs about so a tonnage of urea costs about $575, $550 right now. A tonnage of the triple 17, it costs about $750. So I mean, it's more expensive, but the fertilizer concentrations in it are higher as well. And so yeah, it's more expensive, but there's more fertilizer in it per weight. And so yep, if I'm gonna put phosphorus and potassium fertilizer on a field, that's gonna cost a lot more money than just putting nitrogen on the field. Well, when all things are considered, it'll cost about roughly the same, but it will cost about maybe 10, 15, 20% more to put that phosphorus potassium fertilizer on the soil. And the thing about phosphorus and potassium is that I really got to put it on there when I'm able to push that stuff into the ground, or it's just gonna stay bound up in the soil. So yep, I'm debating right now. Well, I just got to figure it out and go for it. The grass right now is growing in just fine. The cattle look just fine. You see this guy right here, he looks perfectly okay. He's a pretty sizable fella right here. And yep. In like a couple months ago, back in February or so, I actually had a month where I didn't spend any money at all. I spent $0 taking care of these cattle. And the reason I was able to do that majorly, mostly, was because I had fertilized a lot in January. The animals were bloating pretty bad, and there were a handful of factors that went into it. But the big one was that we were getting so much rain. That the rain was kind of it was either back in February or in March. So it was either last month or 2 months ago. Oh, actually, I think it was March. Back in March. The rain was coming in like every week. We were getting like an inch of rain perfectly every single week. It was like raining, it was raining almost perfectly to grow grass, and the weather was just so good for growing grass that I didn't have to spend any money. Yep. And the cattle were actually bloating real bad. I was actually, last month was the month where I was like, man, I got a lot of bloating cattle. But that's why the weather was real good, and we were getting like a perfect amount of rain to grow grass. And so when the weather turns good, in all honesty, well, when I get that Sudan grass growing up front, I won't really need to be spending any money. When the weather gets real good and I get an opportunity to just do my thing, my costs drop drastically, because the things that I need, I'll be producing it myself. This animal is one of my real bad bloaters too, and she's completely fixed up. She's completely okay to go. I remember this was the calf that looked like she was bloating up real bad yesterday. She had been bloating up, but she's completely good to go. But when I get to grow the grass myself, when I get to grow the animal feed myself, my costs plummet. My costs just completely tank. Like, you know, I could probably, in all honesty, if I grew that Sudan grass up front and we got some decent weather, I could probably right now, I could probably add another 15 animals to this herd, and I would still be able to just feed all of them with zero issues. And so yep, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have any problem. I still got a lot of grass on this field, The animals, they're in pretty decent to good condition. And so I don't have any animals that are showing any signs of starvation or anything. Like, none of these animals are like underweight or anything. They may be I mean, could I fatten them up? I could, but I mean, I'll have to see what I'm gonna do these next 3 months. They're not underweight. They don't have any ribs showing or nothing. They got a pretty decent full gut on them. They're just not like fat, but they're not underweight. Ain't nothing wrong with them. Like you see that guy right there? He ain't underweight. If they were underweight, I mean, it's kind of easy to tell. Like their bones would be showing, and they yep. But I mean, these cows, they're not underweight. And so these next few months, when I get that Sudan grass, if roughage prices stay real high, I could actually sell that Sudan grass and bring in a lot of grain, and I could just grain feed these animals. But I'll have to see. If I'm gonna do that, I'll need a hay equipment. I'll need a baling equipment. But my big thing was I didn't want to bring in baling equipment, and then I was just gonna zero graze these cattle. But if I zero graze these cattle, if I just bring in the grass for them to eat, all they'll be able to eat is grass, and I wouldn't get any extra grain. But I'll have to see. Maybe I'll find a I'm kind of like, man, maybe I'll buy myself a small square baler. But who knows? I'm keeping an eye open for opportunities in the market for different balers. If I find a good round baler, I'll buy a round baler. If I find a good small square baler, I'll buy a small square baler. It just depends on what I find. And in all honesty, that sickle bar mower that I have right now, it may take me a while to cut all the hay, but I could cut all my hay with that. So I don't need a large drum mower. So if all I have is money for a baler and a rake, that's all I really need to buy, and I could buy a bigger mower later to mow larger areas faster. A drum mower, long story short, is usually longer. Like my sickle bar mower is about 6 feet right now. A drum mower is usually about 10 feet. And a drum mower, you can haul tail down the field. I mean, that drum mower spins real fast. You can go hauling down the field, just booking it down the field, and that drum mower will just about cut through anything. But a sickle bar mower, it's like a chainsaw, and if you go too fast, or if the grass is too wet, or a combination, or the many different reasons, the sickle bar mower will get clogged up. And so you can't go that fast down the field with a sickle bar mower, and the cutting width is narrower. And so instead of cutting 10 feet, I'd be cutting 6 feet, and I'd have to go slower too. And so yep, yep, I could I'm looking for a baler, and I'm looking for a what is it, a rake. But other than that, that's about all I'm looking for in the markets. Yep, I found a cool tractor, and they wanted 3,000 for it. It's a 50 horsepower long 510, and someone down the street is actually selling it. But I told myself no more tractors. I'm not gonna buy any more tractors. And so yep, the thing that I need right now is a baler and a rake. And I'm looking for a good baler, because a baler is going to be something that once I buy it, the resale potential on it is going to be practically zero. Selling a used baler is just it's just going to be the market for a used baler is very minimal. I mean, I don't know anybody that's walking around right now talking about they looking for a used baler, right? And so yep, I gotta find a good baler. I gotta find a baler that once I buy it, I'm gonna use it forever. And so even if I spend a little bit more money on it, I need to buy a good one, because like these tractors, even if I can't resell them, I can still put them up for grant money. I can still fill out paperwork to get a diesel emissions reductions credit for the tractors, and I could have them crushed, and the government would write me a big check for them. And so I could still do that with these tractors. But the baler, it's going to be just something that I have to use forever. And so yep, I'm looking for a good baler. My baler needs to be something that I would use it forever. And so yep, even if it costs me extra money, I'm gonna buy a good one. You know, a good baler can cost up to like anywhere from $6,000 to $15,000, and usually at the dealership they'll cost more. At a dealership they may cost about $15,000, but when people sell them on the open market, they'll usually cost about $6,000, anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000. And so yep, I need to buy a good baler. The cattle are all just kind of laying around. This guy over here just kind of looks a little bit majestic, so I was gonna get up on him. This guy right here. Hey, yep. Cattle are all doing okay. They're putting on weight. I ain't paying hardly anything. Yep. But that's it for me today, YouTube. Y'all have a good one.